ما شاء الله. في الله استطاع.
النور هو
لا 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 الله يبارك عليك. كيف حالكم؟ معلش شفت المقاطع الصوتيه بس لما ادخل الواتس يصير ضغط ناس بيلاحق ليش ما عجبك؟ انت فوق والا انت تعرف لما اكون معك كان يقصر هذا الوقت عادي. انت تعرف هذا الشيء بس الجوال يصير امر بشكل ثاني. مشاكل
المفروض عليك
شكل
خلاص.
how many had it before? Alright, so you want got both going down there, or you want to stay? No. We'll stay here. I need some on the other side too. The food is coming to
Inshallah, we're going to start shortly. Jazakallah khair. Everybody can report back to the seats. Jazakallah khair.
يقرأ. طيب أبشر 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 الذي يسر أبشر. فهموا كلمة أبشر. أبشر مو معنى يس. أبشر معنى فهموا إيه. أعطي الضوء.
لما تقول أنا ما فهمت الشيء. أنا أبشر. يدشر يبشر. Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, don't like.
Light is shaking. Light is from you. Let's go. Got the lights? The lights, the lights.
I'm leaving that light up.
Just keep light.
Yeah, you can see this. I need to get some video.
طيب.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Continuing, finishing up on the last slides before we get to the new slide. Really quick, just really go, pretty quick.
Your happiness should be the first priority.
Your happiness should be the first priority. Looking for Mr. Right, Mrs. Right, not your parents, not your community, not the children that are going to come later on. The first priority, not the only, but the first thing to think about is, am I going to be happy? My father is important. My mother is important. my parents, my friends, my students. But me and me and me first. Because I have to stay with this person, live with this person. In the morning, in the night, go through the problems. So from the tools of finding Mr. Right or Mrs. Right, the good brother, good sister, is putting yourself, not the only person that matters, but the first person that matters. Golden advice. Your happiness comes first. Number 2, greed and lust. Greed and lust. These things will prevent you from finding the right sister because you're greedy. Marry a woman just for her money. That's greed. And in most cases, her religion is going to be severely lacking. Her akhlaq is going to be bad. She's not going to be a fertile woman, a loving and affectionate woman. Also, lust. Just marry somebody just because of what they look like. Everybody wants someone that's attractive. You want a sister that's attractive, a brother that's attractive, that's natural. That's human nature. You want a sister that's pretty, a brother that's handsome, that's natural. But that's the only reason why you're marrying her. And she has major flaws, major mistakes, major errors in her deen. In most cases, it's going to come back and bite you. A year later, 2 years later, 5 years later, a week later. And the first thing your father, or your brother, or your man, or your teacher is going to say, I told you so. I told you don't marry that sister. The only thing you saw was her beauty. That's it. The only thing you saw was how handsome he was. So greed and lust will destroy you. Moving forward.
Solid core issues.
Solid core issues. Solid core issues. Solid core issues. If we can agree on the solid core issues, everything else is easier. Certain tastes, certain preferences, the fine-tuning things, they can be worked on. But if I can see eye to eye with a sister on most of the important core issues of the religion, that's a major starting point for this sister being the right one. Or this brother being the what? The right one. The fundamental issues. And not getting caught up on the surface. Not getting caught up on the surface. Everybody understand? Let's move forward.
Looking outside the box.
Looking outside of the box. What is the box? The box can be the traditional way of getting married. My father finds me a husband. My cousin in some countries. My second and third cousin. It's the normal starting place. My race, my age, my class. Looking outside of the box. A Muslim matrimonial site. The masjid, the dawah center. Looking sometimes outside of the box. And you never know what you'll find. When you go to a raggedy, beat-down looking bookstore or a nice commercial bookstore, it's fancy, you may find the most rare jewel and gem hidden under a pile of rubbish books with dust and wormholes all throughout the book. Sometimes you have to go to a place that's unexpected. You have to go to the unexpected location to find something rare and to find something precious. Moving forward.
Foolish haste versus unnecessary.
Foolish haste versus unnecessary delay. Rushing into something head first. Did you even think about it? Where you going to live? Where you going to stay? The sister gets pregnant. What you going to do? What are you going to do? What's going to happen? No thought, no depth. Foolish haste. You just jump into it. You don't even know the sister. What's her real name? What's the brother's real name? His name is Abdul Rahman. No, what's the name before Islam? What's the name before Islam? Where did he come from? The only thing you know him is from the masjid. Does he have children before marriage? How's the relationship with his mother? You don't look deep and you rush into something foolishly. Or comes the other evil, and that is unnecessary delay. I know the brother's background, he has a good akhlaq. These people that are well known and respected in the community have testified he has a good character. He's a good brother, he's religious, he comes from a good family. I met his mother, I met his father, I made his istikhara. We generally match up. Bismillah, let's get it done. No, we're going to do it next November. We're going to do it a year later. We're going to do it in 6 more months. We'll have a bigger wedding, a better wedding. Unnecessary waste. And sometimes you discover things. Sometimes you have doubts. Sometimes jealousy and envy. These things, they are factors and ruining what could have been a good situation for you. So it has to be a balance. No foolish haste. And nor any unnecessary delay. It has to be a perfect balance of spice. Too much salt will ruin the food. Too little salt will ruin the food. Just enough. Last but not, it says here, no, be careful
of fear and pressure.
Be careful of fear and pressure. Your parents are pressuring you into this marriage. I don't like him. I never liked him. I don't like anything about this brother. His appearance, his knowledge, his character. He has bad breath. He has horrible teeth. I don't like him. But my father, my mother is saying, marry him, marry him, marry him. He's good for you. You'll love him later on. You don't need to marry with love. You don't need to be what he looks like. And they're pressuring you and they're forcing you. And you really don't want to do it. You know you're not going to be comfortable with this man. Do not do it. Anytime you're forced and pressured, 9 out of 10 times, he does not turn out to be brother right. But he turns out to be brother wrong from day one. So beware of fear, beware of pressure. I'm afraid of not getting married, so I marry anybody. I'm afraid of being single, so I marry anybody. I'm afraid of people talking about me. How can you marry your sister that was married before? Astaghfirullah. She has a son, she has a child, she has an ex-husband. How can you marry your husband that was married before? He has another wife. It's shameful. The brother's deen, wonderful. Akhlaq, wonderful. His money, wonderful. His looks, wonderful. A perfect brother, but because he has one wife, no. So he pressures. No. Don't marry that brother. Do not listen to those who do not know, Allah says. Allah says, don't listen to those who know not. So the ignorant father, the ignorant mother, the ignorant advisor, you should not listen to them, let alone fall victim of their pressure. Last but not least, it says,
Fortune favors the brave.
Fortune favors the brave. You have courage, you have the ability to have some strength, to be daring. Allah's ni'mah is going to find you in the next time. And it's only right. You sacrifice yourself. You'll win when you go against the odds. You'll win if you're a bit daring, a bit bold. Favor fortunes the brave. When you have courage, Allah will look after you and He will bless you. Moving on to the next presentation. Further
Seclusions between
rulings. Always read the chapter.
Rulings and etiquette of conducting a sit-down.
Now we have, a smaller or more finely tuned issue. The importance of marriage. How to find sister right, brother right. When I do feel that I have a candidate for marriage, now how do I get to know this sister? How do I get to know this brother? What can I see? What can I ask? What can I talk about? What can she see from me? What can she ask me? When can we meet? I have to know to get this person that I feel is Mr. or Mrs. Right. So therefore, how do you conduct what we call a sit-down, quote-unquote, a jilsa, a sit-down? I had to sit down with the sister. Today I got to sit down. I got to sit down, inshallah. What are you going to do with the sister? What are you going to ask? What are you going to ask her? How do you conduct? What's haram? What's disliked? What's mandatory? What's recommended? What is agreed upon by the people of knowledge? And what is an issue of ikhtilaf and ijtihad? How to properly conduct a sit-down. The actual fiqh of marriage. It's not all spirituality. It can't be all spiritual. It can't be all general guidelines. But we need to know precise rulings and details. Number one.
Seclusion between non-mahrams.
Seclusion between non-mahrams. It's me and the sister alone in the restaurant. Me and the sister alone on the airplane. Me and the sister alone in my car. Me and the sister alone on the park bench. Me and the sister alone in the mattress. Is that permissible? To get to know the brother, I didn't touch him. I didn't ask her anything rude or nasty or dirty, but we're just talking. I'm getting to know my future wife. Is that permissible? Number one. And if it is permissible, is it advisable? What is going to happen when you sit with this woman alone? What is the nature of man and the nature of woman? Someone that you like, someone that you may actually love, someone that you're physically attracted to. We know that a wolf and a sheep is going to equal one thing and one thing only, and that's blood. Period. There's a sheep, there's a wolf, there's going to be blood. It's a nice wolf, it's a nice sheep, they get along. No. The fitrah of the wolf, the fitrah of the sheep produces one thing, and that is bloodshed. And it's not going to be the blood of the wolf. The sheep is not going to make the wolf bleed. It's going to be the wolf on the sheep. Everybody understand this? So your nafs, your hawa, your inclination, زُيِّنَ لِلنَّاسِ حُبُّ الشَّهَوَاتِ مِنَ النِّسَاءِ. It says what? زُيِّنَ لِلنَّاسِ. Men are fond of things, lustful things. The very first lustful thing is what? Women. So the nature of man is to be inclined towards a woman. The nature of a woman is to be inclined to a man. So when you're alone, you're secluded, it's going to be danger. Moving forward.
It is lawful to see the intended woman to marry.
It is lawful to see the intended woman to marry. It's lawful. But my culture, we already talked about that. When your culture goes against Islam, there's no value to your culture. When your culture goes against Quran and Sunnah, there's no value to your culture. Period. And if your culture means more than Allah and His Messenger, then you shouldn't be a Muslim. If your ancestors are more significant than Allah and His Messenger, then be with your ancestors. Worship your ancestors, not worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So therefore, in Islam, in the Quran, in the Hadith, the kalam of the ulama from the Salaf, they say that it's permissible for a man to look at the woman he intends to marry. The fork in the road is, what can I look at? When can I look at it? How long can I look at it? How many times can I look at it? Her face and her hands, her hair, her neck, her feet, tight clothes, loose clothes, in the house. Those are other details of fiqh. The asl is that it is lawful and it is permissible for a man who intends to marry a sister to physically look at her. The asl, the fundamental principle, is that it is permissible for a woman to see the man that she intends to marry. I have a friend I met in Medina. He was from Afghanistan. He asked me some questions. He was a new student in Medina some years back. He said, well, my country, Mufti, he says a woman doesn't know what her husband looks like until the wedding night. He comes, he enters upon the room, he consummates the marriage. That's the first time she sees the brother. First time, period. And others, they've said from other countries, in my country, or in the desert, the Bedouins, the nomad Arabs, he says it's unlawful to see a woman's face, even after you marry her. You can't see her face, period. You can see her body, not her face. And the list goes on of extreme situations and cultures, let alone people who think that they have fiqh and they have knowledge. No, it's haram to see the woman unless you already made the contract. It's haram to see the girl unless you've had 10 sit-downs. Oh, you can't see the woman, it's makruh until some. Where are you getting these things from, Yahi? Qala Allah, Qala Rasulullah, Qala Sahaba, where are you getting these things from? And the Quran and the Sunnah is the exact opposite. Allah says, tell the believers to lower some of their gaze. Min absarihim. Not قُلِ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ يَغُضُّوا أَبْصَارَهُم مِّنْ أَبْصَارِهِمْ. Allah says, lower the gaze sometimes. Don't look at everything. Certain things, certain places, certain instances, you need to look. You plan to be with this person. You plan to stay with this person. I need not to just see what you look like. I need to look into your eyes. You need to be in your eyes. The eyes are the doorway to the soul. That's a universal principle among Muslims, Jews, and Christians. The ayn, nazar, nadar, tamima, tiwala. The concept of the eyes, the evil eye. Looking at someone's eye. The liar, a detective. He's trained to look at the person who's being accused of the crime in his eyes, his face, what you just did. Look to the left, look to the right. Where were you at last night? At 9 o'clock. He looks to the left, I was home. It means something. He looks to the right, it means something. His eyes go down, it means something. Red eyes, dilate, the list goes on, the concept of the eye. Looking at someone that you plan to spend the rest of your life with. That's common sense. Let alone the Quran and the Sunnah, in which the Prophet allowed his companions, told his companions to look at the women that they wanted to marry. We're not here right now, we're not discussing the details of that in specifics. In other words, when I see a sister, it's the first sit down. And a sister wears niqab and gloves. Is it permissible for me to see her face and her hands from the first sit down? She enters the room, assalamu alaikum, wa alaikum assalam. Takes off her gloves. This is what I look like, basically. Not my hair, not the tight fitting clothes my body. It's my face. Smile, let me see your teeth. She showed, this is the reality. Palms, backs of the hands, then she covers back up. Or does she keep them off? Or is it mandatory that you have a second sit down before you can see her body, her aura? Or a third sit down? Or the wali has approved of him and agreed that you guys are going to get married, even before the aqd? Or is it only permissible to see the woman after the aqd, before the consummation? Everybody clear on this? This is one scenario. When are you allowed to look at the sister? The second scenario is, what are you allowed to see from the sister? Obviously, women who don't cover their hands in their face is going to be totally different than women who cover their hands in their face. A woman, you can't see her skin complexion at all. You don't see anything. Her eyes, nothing. It's covered. That's not the same as a woman who goes outside, goes to college, goes to work, and her hands are uncovered. Her hands and her face are uncovered. And that's a fiqh issue in itself. Everybody understand this? So if I go to the sit down, I ask the father, I would like to see what the sister looks like. He says, she's right there, you see her. Everybody sees that. The non-Muslims in her class see her face and her hands. I want to see her hair. I want to see what her neck. I want to see that she has rash on her neck. I want to see what her ears look like. I want to see her feet, her toes, the type of feet that she has. This is a reality. And he says, no, you can't see that. You can only see the hands and the face. Is that correct? Another scenario is a sister who covers her hands and her face. A sister who doesn't cover her hands and her face. The wali, the father, he agrees in allowing the man to see the hair, to see the feet, to see the hands, but he says, I want to see more. In other words, I don't want to see this woman with a loose-fitting garment. I want to see what her body looks like. Is she really tall, really short, really petite? Is she buxom, thick, thin? Whatever the case may be, you want to see a woman's body type. Is that permissible or is that haram? And the only thing you can see on a sister is when she has on a normal dress, a long dress, a house dress, an outside abaya. Can you see a sister with jeans or with leggings or yoga pants? Is that permissible? With a skirt? Can you see the sister in her home with the permission of her father? Or is it totally, absolutely haram? Also, I'm going to throw this out there. It's not my opinion. Tell you what the scholars of the past have said. Is it permissible to see a woman in her natural, innate state? Natural state. Everybody understand this? Because the hadith says, "Unzur ilayha." It says, look at her. The hadith says, "Unzur ilayha." Look at her. The hadith did not specify what to look, how long to look. The hadith told them to do what? Unzur, look. So these are all issues of which the people of knowledge and the fuqaha, they have ins and they have outs. Some agree, some disagree, some come to consensus. Others have differences of opinion on what you can and cannot see from the sister that you plan to marry. And the same applies to the man as well. A sister, she says, I want to take off your throw now, akhi. I want to see, what you look like. Not with a throw on. I want to see you, with a muscle shirt on. An A shirt. You have muscles, you have burnt chest, skinny, big. I want to see. You have tattoos, I want to see them. Is that permissible to do this? If the sister says, I want to see you with shorts and a shirt on. Just like you see my body, I want what? I want to see your body. Is this permissible? This is a real life situation. And the fiqh is understood oftentimes in light of just being oppressive and unfair. You can see the sister pretty much naked. You can see her with jeans on in the house. But you, no. She can't ask to see you. She can't ask to see what your arms look like, what your hands look like. No, you can't show her that. But you can see her. Is that fair or unfair? No doubt. You have desires, and she also has desires. A woman's desires may be stronger than a man's desires. She may be more detailed. She may be more picky, more finicky with her specifications than you. Moving forward to the next point, Lord.
What exactly can be seen? Just face and hands?
I can't hear you. This is too mellow.
Just face and hands or more than that?
We've explained that already. Move forward.
Islamic dating.
Seeing the face.
Seeing the face and hands and or more on the first sit down.
We've explained that as well. And even if we just made a shout, pointed it out to you. Moving forward.
Islamic dating.
Islamic dating. Is there a such thing as Islamic dating? And if there is, what are the rulings of Islamic dating? I go out on a date with a sister. Now, pay close attention because many people, the first thing they think about is the first point. Khalwa, seclusion. Me and a sister are not secluded. We're in a public place, a public restaurant. Her wali knows. There was a chaperone. I'll stay here. You guys sit over there. Sit, talk, drink, wine and dine. Not talking about khamr, of course. And get to know the sister. You go out with the sister once or twice or 3 or 4. Is that permissible? Is dating permissible? Or is it something that is haram? Everybody clear on this? Or you sign up for a website. And the website says Islamic dating. It doesn't say Islamic matrimonials. It says Islamic dating. Dating a woman, getting to know her. Dating a man, getting to know him. If it is permissible, are there restrictions? And if it isn't permissible, why? Obviously, seclusion is going to be a major factor in this dating, being alone with the sister without a mahram. Or, deeper than that, is being alone, having people in a public place, but it isn't a mahram that you're in front of. The hadith says that you're supposed to be with a mahram and not just other people. So we're sitting in a restaurant, he's there, she's there, but are these brothers mahram to the girl? No. Everybody understand this? The Islamic attire, what is being said, her wearing perfume, her wearing makeup, what's her hijab like? From one thing, learn what? 10,000 things. One fiqh issue branches off to what? 20 other fiqh issues. Her hijab is messed up from the beginning. The hijab is going to play a role in the dating system. His gaze is loose and wide in the beginning. It's going to play a role in the ruling of the dating system. Everybody understand this? He's fahish. He's obscene and profane in his speech. On the phone, so when they Islamically date, it's also going to have an effect on the ruling. Everybody got this or not? Everybody with? Everybody here? Everybody understand this? Moving forward, no.
Dinner date or coffee meeting with a mahram in relative closeness but not sitting at the table.
Is that repetitive of the fifth point? No, it's more specific. A dinner date, coffee, we go to Starbucks, we sit, we have a croissant, we have a coffee, cappuccino, what are you getting? This is what I want, this is what you want. We sit and we talk at the table. With the mahram, we're not alone, but he's not sitting at the same table. He's in relative closeness. The mahram is there, we're over here. Obviously he can see, but he can't hear what's being said. Give me your number. Exchange your number. Look at this picture on my phone. Look at this picture on my phone. Oh, that's nice. You look beautiful. Wow, nice. So on and so forth. Is that permissible? Or does the mahram have to be sitting at the exact same table, drinking a coffee or a cappuccino with you and the sister, and listening to every single word, everything thing that's being passed on and traded between these two Muslims, man and woman? Everybody understand this? It's a modern day issue. It's not seclusion, absolutely. The mahram is there, the chaperone is there, but he is not what? At the table. Everybody, he's not what? He's not at the table. Or over the sister's house. The husband, he says, this is my daughter, sister Sharifa, this is brother Yusuf, Bismillah. I'll be in the kitchen making some tea. I'm going out to the garage, I'm going to mow the lawn, you guys have yourselves a ball and you talk. Is that permissible? Or does the mahram actually have to be sitting there looking and guarding and under total surveillance? Moving forward, it says,
what questions to ask?
What questions to ask? What should I ask when I first sit down? What's your favorite color? What's your favorite book? What's your favorite movie? What type of music you listen to? Very important question. Many brothers, they say, do you listen to music? And the sister says, no, I don't listen to music. And the sister says, what? She's lying. She listens to music. She's too shy. Sometimes if you say, what's your favorite artist? Or what's your favorite, what's your favorite Drake song? And she says, oh, I like Citizen. But like this, you've successfully found out the truth from the falsehood. But if you come with a direct punch, sometimes you don't get the necessary effects. Do you listen to music? No, alhamdulillah, I don't listen to music. It's haram. And she has 50 albums downloaded in her phone. So sometimes you got to be a bit unorthodox. You have to know what questions to ask and what questions not to ask. A common question, especially when we come from Philadelphia, what are the conditions of La ilaha illallah? Where's Allah? What's your aqidah? Have you studied this book of aqidah? Have you studied this book? The sister has a set list of answers. I studied Thalatha, Kitab Tawheed, Aqidah Wasatiyah, Aqidah Tahawiyah, I studied Sheikh Fulan, Allah is above the throne, in a manner that befits His Majesty. She has it down packed. Instead of you saying, have you ever read Surah Tawbah? Verse 20 says that Allah is in every place. She's like, Naam, inshallah. Everybody understand this? She says, Naam, inshallah. She says, inshallah to something. Or she says, Ameen to something that wasn't a dua. You know that the sister is not that studious. You know the brother is not that what? Studious. Aqidah Mawiyah. You ever read that book? You're like, yeah, I got the shock of Sheikh bin Baz. And that book doesn't even what? Doesn't even exist. So you automatically disqualify him that number one, he isn't studious. Number two, he has a problem with telling the truth. So you have to know what questions to what? What questions to ask. Another very important point here is learning how to break the tension at the sit down. Don't come swinging haymakers from the beginning. Relax. How was your day? How you doing? Alhamdulillah. Okay. Ask basic, simple, silly questions. And that oftentimes shows you the true nature of the person. The true nature of the person. Everybody says, what's your cat's name? He says, I don't have cats. Everybody saying this? That shows you a certain type of level of his what? Of his character, no doubt. Everybody says, I don't have cats. That shows a certain type of what? Level of his character. Or you ask a sister, any type of question, Tell you. The point that we're trying to get to is that sometimes be unorthodox and know what questions to ask, what questions not to ask. Don't stick with the rhetoric, with the theory. Everybody understand this? Get to know a person, as a human being. And many times their sisters, unfortunately, they marry brothers who are students of knowledge, not because they're students of knowledge, not because he studied in Mauritania and he's memorized the Quran. No. I like Brother Flynn because he's handsome, because he's cute. I like the way he dresses. That's fine, that's okay. But when he goes back to Mauritania, he goes to study again, there's sacrifice, there's hardship, there's time that she doesn't get. Now she says, I'm unhappy. I don't want to be in this marriage anymore. He says, but you know I was a student of knowledge from day one. In other words, you didn't ask the right questions. You asked the theoretical questions. What do you do if I only see you for 2 hours out of the day? What would you do? What would you do if I said I have to travel once a month to another country? You be happy with that or not? Ask these type of questions that are real questions and not just the superficial questions. And that's a whole entire concept in itself. Moving forward to the next point. Number 8, Noah.
How many sit-downs should take place before you feel confident?
1, 2, 3, or 5. Does the year have to go by? 3 months go by? A month go by? Until you feel confident to really start talking to this person, getting to know this person, telling them secrets. Before you show them what your hair looks like. Before you show them what your face looks like. Before you really start talking about plans of marriage. Real, actual, practical plans. How many sit-downs should you have before you feel confident? If Allah allows you to feel confident in one sit-down, that's a blessing from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Based off of your trust in Allah, your connection with Allah, that qadr that you made, the instincts that Allah gave you, and the background of the brother, which we want to get to in the next subhanahu wa ta'ala. Moving forward.
Eye contact versus hayat.
Eye contact versus hayat. A sister, she comes in. Wa alaikum as-salam. I'm Ahmed. And the whole sit down, she looks down. Is that a good thing? Or is that a bad thing? Is she really that shy? Or is that a game and a joke? Does she walk down the street with her head down? Or when you see her, she doesn't see you, she's having a car, she's smoking a cigarette, and she's cursing at people. Well, Lord, this is a reality. This is a reality. Or her Facebook page, and she's taking a selfie with her hair all over the place. But she came to the sit down and it was... So is it recommended not to make eye contact at a sit down? Is it recommended to make eye contact at a sit down? Is it permissible for you to stare the sister in her face the entire time? We spoke on that briefly. Moving forward, Noah.
Shaking hands between brother and sister is haram.
Shaking hands. You walk over to sister's house. She says, what? Assalamu alaikum. I'm such and such. Can you do that? Or is that haram? Or if it is haram, what's going to happen when you say, I'm sorry, I can't shake hands? What's going to happen? She wouldn't get offended, disrespected. Her culture, her madhab, that is not haram to shake hands. Perhaps, I'm not saying this changes the ruling, but perhaps that sister would never ever forget how you made her feel the first time you met her. Or her father may be extremely offended, disrespected. You're too righteous to shake my daughter's hand? Everybody understand this? In other words, preparing ahead of time. What type of brother is the father? Sunnah or culture? If he's a sunnah brother, you should already know that. If he's a cultural brother, it's a different story. Sheikh, you know, no disrespect to your family, but I don't shake with his hands. Out of respect for your daughters that I don't touch her until we're actually married. Ahead of time, using wisdom, looking ahead of time. Moving forward, Noah.
Family meetings and exclusive personal sit-downs.
Should every meeting be with a bunch of family members? Mother's there, father's there, uncle's there, aunt's there, cousins are there, little kids are there? Or should the first sit-down just be you and him? You and her? Everybody understand this? When to have the big family dinner and when to have the individual meetings. That's something that you want to have to determine based off of your knowledge and your experience in life. Your experience as a person, as a human being, moving forward. And obviously each of these, they have their benefits, they have their pros and they have their cons. There are pros in family meetings and there are cons in family meetings. The sister is too shy to talk in front of her family, too embarrassed to talk in front of her father. Everybody understand this? Or it wasn't enough family meetings in which you have to realize who the in-laws are going to be. You see how he talked to his wife? You see how he just grabbed his son, sit down right now? You're married into this family right now. You want to do this? So there's pros and what? Cons in both. And I feel there should be a balance. One sit down with the family, one sit down, just you and her. One sit down with just you, her, and the father, one sit down, you, her, and the mother. Etc. To mix it up. Wallahu a'lam. Move forward.
The sit-down in light of exterior sources, i.e. the sit-down isn't the only source of information about the religion and character of the brother/sister.
If you go into a sit-down and the only source of information is physical, you've already lost the game. You've already lost the battle. Because I can lie, I can pretend, I can fake the funk, as we say. But I know about you already through Brother Fulan. I know about you already because your family is well known. I know about you already because of the classes that you do. I know about you already from this situation, from that situation. You cannot allow the sit-down to be your sole source of information about this brother or this sister. The sit-down, it's physical contact, yes. Eye contact, yes. Meeting someone in person. The sister isn't, she's not photogenic. Her picture that she sent you or her father sent you doesn't really look that good. In person, she looks better. Her skin is darker, her skin is lighter. She looks short in the pictures, but she's actually taller. The benefits of the physical sit down. But that should not be your only source, your blind source of information about this brother. You should have done the necessary research, the necessary investigation. Your wali should have the necessary investigation. Rather, you shouldn't marry a brother or sister unless you know their general compatibility in their religion, generally. I'm only searching among brothers who pray in Jama'ah. If you don't pray in Jama'ah, you don't pray 5 salats, you have automatically disqualified yourself to have a sit down with me. I'm not having to sit down with you and say, do you pray in Jama'ah? Do you make 5 salah? If you have to ask that question, something is what? Seriously wrong. And the same applies to the music, Facebook, and any other issue that you want to think of. Wallahu a'lam, moving forward.
Rulings and etiquette.
Proper
sunnah attire. What clothes should be worn to the sit-down?
What clothes should you wear to the sit-down? Should you be really fancy, really spiffy as a brother? Or should you go in just a bit rugged, a bit natural? I'm coming from work, that's how I look. A sister says, this is how I look without makeup. This is how I look without being razzle-dazzled and spiffed and jazzed up. Should you wear something tight? Should you wear perfume to a sit-down? Is it permissible for women to wear perfume outside the house? Is it permissible for a brother to have on cologne? And how many sprays should you have at them? Huh? You have good cologne? You're going to the sit-down and you're reeking. Sometimes that's overbound. You're going too much. You're trying to impress too much. Be a little natural, a little rugged. Be a little gritty. Be a little organic. And allow the person to feel your character as it truly is. Don't be too plastic. Don't be too cosmetic. Let alone wear something that's haram in the sit-down. Everybody understand this? A brother has his odor exposed before she even asked to see his body, or vice versa. And obviously, if the sister wears a tight overgarment, if the sister has a colorful overgarment, if the sister has a cake makeup before the sit-down, that doesn't apply. As we said at the beginning of the lecture, marriage is a manifestation of your Islam. How you practice Islam on a daily basis is going to carry over to how you get married. Moving forward, Noah.
What's the ruling of offering and bringing a gift to the sit-down?
What's the rule? Recommended, haram, or disliked? And if you do bring a gift, what type of gift should you give Imran? What type of gift, what would you bring the first time you meet your sister's family? You met the brother in the masjid. You meet her mother, her sister, her aunts. What gift would you bring them?
Probably the hadithdisciple Q&A book.
Hadithdisciple Q&A book. Title. Khair, inshallah. Jeremy, what would you bring?
Some sweets.
Some sweets. Right. What would you bring? What would you bring? He's coming to meet you and your family, but what do you give him? Or would you give him a gift? A book. Right. What would you give him, Akhi? What would you bring? Flowers. Right. Yeah, what would you bring him? Huh? A ring. Allahu Akbar. Right here. Right. What would you bring? Nothing. Right. What would you bring? Something edible, food, type, snack, maybe a meal, maybe something, a casserole, something like this. Everybody understand this? Is knowing what gift to pick, knowing what gift to bring. My general advice is never ever bring a super expensive gift the first time you meet them. And Allahu Alam, I feel that's disrespectful because you really don't know me that well. I mean, I like jewelry. Most people like sweets. Most people eat a pie. Most people eat some cinnamon buns or something like this. Most people, some fruit, something that's generally agreeable. And it has a symbolic meaning behind it. Your daughter is worth 10 times more than this. Your family is worth more than this. I can never bring a gift that equals your true worth and value. This is nothing more than a token. A humble token, a gift to your family. Last but not least, I feel that the gift, Wallahu Alam, should be something that everybody can enjoy. Such as sweets. You bring a pie, you bring cheese, Danish. Everybody can slice it, tea, coffee, they can laugh, they can joke, and they can enjoy the gift together. And your ihsan reaches everybody. No one can say that he was a bad person, he never did no good for us. Everybody had a piece of cake. Everybody understand this? A ring is specific to the girl. Unless you give her mother a ring, her mother a necklace, her aunt a necklace. In some cultures, when the person gets married, the brother, he told me, he says, you've married your wife, you've paid the mahar, everything is done. You enter upon your wife. You meet all of her family members. He says you have to get a $100 bill.
and break it down to fives or even dollar bills. And everybody in the family has to get a bill. Everybody. Give everybody something. Everybody saying this? You just give her $100, $500, $1,000. That's what? It's only for her. So be wise. Wallahu a'lam. All right, move forward.
Rulings and etiquettes that pertain to the guardian and those that are specific to the brother and sister.
It says rulings and etiquettes that pertain to the guardian and those that are specific to the brother and sister. The guardian can't see this. The guardian can't hear this. But the brother can, the sister can, etc. Khayr, inshallah, I want to stop here. I believe that's the end of this presentation. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala surely knows best. Jazakumullahu khairan. What's next?